This is the ZenBook offered by Asus, which offers incredible amount of value for the price. However, you do have to make some compromises. So starting off with the overall design of the laptop, it's a really nice and premium feel. It is an aluminum finish on the outside. The overall design of this laptop is good. It's a 14-inch and has some distinct features that makes it feel more premium, such as the height adjust from raising the chassis. And I still don't know if this is plastic or a brushed aluminum, but the strip gives it a more premium and professional look. This laptop comes in weighing at 2.9 pounds, so it's pretty lightweight. Moving on to the display, it is a 1080p screen, and I would say for most people it gets bright enough. While I was using this laptop as well, the colors looked very good and vivid. Nothing to me seemed too washed out. I'll try and see if I can have the sRGB color space percentage on the screen somewhere, but I would say for the most part, the display for what it has to offer is really good. The bezels are extremely thin, similar to the XPS, which is why I was saying in my unboxing video how this laptop isn't getting as much praise as the XPS lineup, probably because aesthetically the XPS looks much better, but overall I would say this feels just as premium at a much lower price point in terms of the display and the design. So moving on to the unlocking features, it uses Windows Hello using facial recognition. Unfortunately, there's no fingerprint reader, but I found the facial recognition to be very consistent compared to the XPS 15, 13, and 17. It reads my face very quickly. I've had no problems with it. But for some reason, with Windows Hello and this nice camera, the webcam is absolutely terrible. This is where you make one of the compromises on when you're purchasing this laptop. For some reason, it just looks so bad. I don't know what camera they're using, but you guys can see for yourself and let me know how the microphone sounds.
What is this? You know when you go to like a gas station, you ask for the footage? This is what it looks like.
Okay, so I know in my review I might be sandbagging this camera, but in good lighting, it's actually not that bad. Like it's pretty good. So if you are in like a dark environment, one second. So now I'm in a darker environment. As you can see, the camera is horrendous. Like it's horrible. You can't even like make out my face. So that's what I was talking about. So if you are wanting to use this camera, make sure you're in good lighting. Otherwise, you're going to have a horrible time and other people are going to think that you probably look like an alien. So next up is the speakers, and I would say that they're all right. The speakers are located down here at the bottom. I don't think most people would complain about these speakers if you were using it on a desk or on your lap, but I found when I was using it in bed that my covers would often cover the bottom part of the speakers, and then the sound would sounds really weird, really muffled. So just keep that in mind if you are trying to use this laptop on like a surface that you don't cover up the speakers. Asus, I would like you guys to probably put the speaker somewhere up on the top. You do have some extra real estate on the sides to allow that to happen. So that's something that I would like to see on future ZenBooks. So next up, I want to talk about one of the other compromises you're going to have to make when purchasing this laptop, which is the keyboard. And like I said before, I really do like the overall design of this laptop. However, in terms of like user experience, I don't like how the keycaps are silver and they're like transparent almost. And then the backlit is white-ish, not like fully white. So when you're trying to use this at night, it's okay, but even during the daytime or at night, it's really hard to see the keycaps with the backlit on. So I hope Asus decides to use a different color scheme, maybe just have them straight up black, or just have the backlit be more powerful or more light, I should say, because right now using this during the day with the backlit on or even at night with the backlit on, it's not a fun experience. I have to like actively try and look for what the keys that I'm looking for. The tilde is a little bit small, but who uses the tilde? It uses the inverted T design for the arrow keys, as well as the home, page up, page down, and in the function key on the far right hand side. Next up, I want to talk about the trackpad. Trackpad is actually really nice. I had almost no problems with it. There have been some occasions where I'm tapping on it. Like I said, I'm a tapper and it's not registering the tap as a click. So I always have to resort to going back to clicking. It's a nice, loud, satisfying click.
if that's something that you're into. Now I want to talk about the port selection, and let's start off with this side. So we have a micro SD card slot, USB-A, and a headphone jack. Then on the other side, we have the power adapter, another USB-A port, HDMI, and just a USB-C, which is going to be USB 3.1. Now, I know there's a lot of craze going on with Thunderbolt 3. However, even though this is not Thunderbolt 3, you can't even charge using this port as well. So that's kind of a bummer when you are purchasing this laptop. I'm not sure why Asus gimped out on this part of the laptop. I know not everybody needs Thunderbolt 3, but it is a nice to have. I believe even on the Intel version doesn't even have Thunderbolt 3, which is really weird because I know Thunderbolt 3 is pretty prevalent on Intel laptops. So that's one of the downsides, but I would say overall, in terms of the port selection, if you don't need Thunderbolt 3, it's actually really good for most people. Next up is gaming performance, and this is where it gets really interesting because I haven't gotten to the specs yet, but it is using a MX350 NVIDIA card. So I played Valorant on the lowest setting, and I'm telling you, as soon as it was 60 frames per second when I wasn't doing anything, but as soon as the first bullet was shot, I was at 30 FPS, and I was just dipping below that ever since then. It was stuttering the entire time. It's playable, but I wouldn't say you're going to have the greatest experience ever. I also tried out a new game called Fall Guys on the lowest settings as well, and that game is good if you're in last place and no one's around you. Whenever you start off, when there's a lot of people on the screen, there's definitely a dippage in the FPS that you get. But if you suck at the game, you're gonna have a good time and have fun. But for games like CSGO and Minecraft, this computer runs it perfectly fine. But now I might as well just talk about the components that are inside. So we have the Ryzen 5 4500U. There is a 4700U variant. So I do think that the value that you get out of this laptop in terms of productivity is really good because you're getting a 6-core processor. I mean, it's just 6 cores, but I do think that the performance that you get out the chip is very good for the price that you're getting it at with an NVIDIA card as well. So like I said, if you're a person who uses the Adobe suite a lot, or if you use a lot of programs that take advantage of CUDA cores or NVIDIA graphics, you are going to want to look into getting this laptop. I know it's not that comparable to the XPS 13 since it's, I guess the same price range and form factor, but I would say that this is a much better value if you are on a tight budget rather than stretching yourself thin going to the XPS 13. Also, looking inside the laptop, the RAM is soldered on, so that is unfortunate, but you are able to add M.2 slot if you would like. So that's really nice by Asus, but hopefully in the future, Asus allows us to upgrade the RAM as well. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. So next up, I want to talk about some of the annoyances, or I guess the compromises that you might have to make when purchasing this laptop, because this might be specific to me. It might not happen to everyone, but for my model, whenever I open it up from sleep or hibernate, the fans just go up to 100%. And I also had the fan profile set to silent, and it's just blaring at 100%, and I left it on for like 10 minutes. There's nothing open. I'll even show you guys a clip that I had when I was in bed, as well as right before I was going to do this review. All right, so I was just about to do my review of this ZenBook, and the fans are just spinning at 100%, even with the ergo lift all the way up. I don't know what this issue is. It's just quite insane. So if you guys want to take a listen. It's just 100%, and I'm going to show you guys nothing is open. I just opened this computer up from sleep mode. Do this. Okay, so Steam's open, but let's close Steam down here. Let's close that. So there's basically nothing open. Memory, it's just anti-malware stuff. Like, this computer should not be running this hot. So another thing I want to talk about is the clicking that happens inside this laptop. I know it's not coil line. It happens somewhere on the top right of the computer. And it's like a knocking that's happening. It's very subtle, but once you hear it, you can't unhear it. and it just happens like every 10 seconds. I don't know what it is. If someone from Asus is watching, you can reach out to me, let me know what's going on, but that clicking or knocking that's happening inside is very weird. I have no idea why it's happening, but that's another one of the annoyances that I've had to deal with when using this laptop. So I know those are very, I guess, big concerns, because I mean, for anyone, I would say that fans spinning up at 100% or some random clicking might turn you off. But I still do think that this is a laptop that is very good for the value. Like I said, it might just be my unit specifically. It might just be this Best Buy model. I know the ones that most people buy is the 4700U variant, which is the more expensive one. So maybe in that version, those annoyances don't happen. But I still think this laptop is a very good value for the money, especially in this price point. I don't know what other laptops could rival this. I'm probably just have to check out more laptops in the future to see what could be comparable to this, since I am still starting in this laptop review journey. But overall, I would say that, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are on a budget and the XPS is too expensive for you, and you want to try out AMD, that go ahead and try this laptop out. You don't have to get my variant. You can get the more higher end version, which is the 4700U. I'll also have the model number down in the description below. Another thing I want to touch on is this model actually doesn't have the integrated numpad on here. So keep that in mind if you do decide to go with this Best Buy model or just the 4500U version. The 4700U version, it has the numpad built into the trackpad, which I think is pretty cool. But I don't think that's something that I would use too often. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more tech content, please make sure to subscribe. The Razer Book review is coming up. And if you want to see more tech content, please make sure to subscribe. The Razer Book review is coming up. And oh, I said a Razer Book instead of Razer Blade. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. How dumb can I be? I meant Razer Blade. And as always, guys, much love. But man, this Ergo Lift is so cool. All laptops need this design. See ya.